Okay, we're here. I don't even want a primer for this. Don't even need it. I don't think I necessarily want to be here that long talking. And the only thing that I am going to be doing with this video is making my argument that what you're looking at is a lie and not real. Merely what you're looking at is a lie and not real. I can't speak for anything else. I can't speak to whether they've actually done something up there or not. As far as all this isolated, that's a whole other conversation. I don't feel like having the whole other conversation. I've had it before. And the reason why I called this ontological, right, is that the question of whether we've been to the moon, the question whether we were even in space, the question that we can even be in space, and also the question of whether we live in a realm that supports space as we think that we know it. All of these are ontological questions that, if you have a psyche that is grounded in the form as such, for anything to rattle you from that is going to cause ontological shock. And ontological shock, I have noticed from study, like, it's not something that you can really do to somebody. It's something that they do to themselves. You can point out a bunch of things that don't make sense to somebody, and they'll always find a rationalization, and even if they don't rationalize it, they simply believe a particular thing. That doesn't necessarily even give you ontological shock, right? And, ontological shock comes from within. It comes from being isolated by, where no longer can your mind look at X, Y, and Z things and see them as valid arguments for what's going on, right? And there can be a long period of time where this brush with the ontological destruction of your world is right in your periphery, but you're not crossing that threshold personally, and it can look a lot like gaslighting, right? So there's an element of gaslighting to be discussed in this respect. So I wanted to show you guys a couple of things for you to ask yourself some rational questions about. All right? So let's take a look at what we can call reality. Okay? So here we can call that a real thing. Whatever this is capable of, it is real. Okay? This actually exists. This is something that was actually built. All right? To me, it looks like a trash bag. It looks like somebody threw a trash bag over a PVC fort that they built in their very large backyard. And that's what it looks like to me. To me, I think that space travel, your outer layer should not be a crumply plastic bag. Should not be what the outer layer of your secure craft looks like, right? But this is the way it looks. It's not just holding like that in storage. Like, it's got like these little things on the booster rockets, right? Those naturally are going to get taken out. You can see my cursor. That is going to get taken off, obviously, at some point. But yeah, no, like, so here's the thing. Understand what the thing looks like, okay? So we have an understanding of the thing. What the fuck is that? What the fuck is that? Okay, why now are the boosters red? Why, like, where's, like, there's no detail, like, this is PlayStation 1 graphics. Okay, this is PlayStation 1. This looks exactly like my experience of playing video games in the 90s. That's what this fucking looks like, right? It looks like trash, right? It's not even like, it's got these sharp angles. That's not that narrow. That doesn't look anything like that. That's too thin. Like, this image has been warped if it was ever an image of this that was changed. Do you understand? Okay? You can practically see the lines. Here, look how flat. This is a flat, high definition picture of a cratered gray surface that may have been the moon. I don't know. But look at this, right? None of that. That's exactly what it looks like when you put a picture behind a CG graphic. Now, here's the thing. Some of you may be thinking, well, they didn't obviously film this. But the Indian government is saying that this is exactly what they did. They said they had the technology to actually have a camera track. They're trying to tell you this exists, that this is that. Gaslighting. You're welcome, right? So that's gaslight. I mean, like, this is what goes out on TV as such, right? And they make a big deal out of showing you all this. They make a big deal out of explaining all of the scientific reasons why things are happening the way that they're happening. This is very important to them, right? So here's another thing that I can give them the benefit of the doubt is real. Here it is getting stacked into this thing, right? From a different angle where you can see that it's wide like this on that side. Right? So here, just so you understand, now they want you to say that this is real. Look at that. They didn't even render texture on it. And they're pointing cameras at it, and they're telling the world and the people of India that that's film footage of it actually happening. By the way, the moon is way smaller than the Earth. Where's the curve of the moon? I mean, and then you've got this. And then you've got this right here, right? Which, that's about as 1960s filming a moon landing kind of footage that you can ask for. It's this miraculous concept on top of this, that it's been 50, 60 some odd years or whatever, 70 years maybe, since we landed on the moon in 69, right? And we're not that much more advanced than this technology, and we're using this technology to put drones, little radio-controlled vehicles on there. It's not even a manned mission. So, we're not on the moon. We have equipment on the moon, but believe us based on all this stuff, right? Look at, can you see this? I mean, let me.
दूसरे जीवन सहायक ग्रहों को खोजने में
मदद
करेगा.
They want you, they're telling you that there's something up there filming this. I'm just saying that that's what they're telling their people, right? You can say that this is a real-time rendering of telemetry data. You could possibly say that, right? But I mean, this is all they have to show you that we're doing stuff in space.
चंद्रयान 3 को प्रमोशन की कक्षा प्राप्त कर ली गई है. चंद्रयान 3 को सफलतापूर्वक अंतक्षेपित कर दिया गया है इलिप्टिकल पार्किंग ऑर्बिट पर.
Chandrayaan-3 has attained a major milestone successfully.
Chandrayaan-3 mission accomplished. Handing over to mission
And
director.
they're clapping because the device has properly released the thing, right? They they're building emotional charge throughout this whole thing, right? The most mundane accomplishment of engineering, because it's happening in outer space. Everything is a great, ooh, and this has been the way it is with every space agency doing this kind of thing, right? When all of this is real and when the stakes are so much because it's like, oh man, we have no idea if all this shit's going to work, and I don't know. It's just absolutely, ridiculous. Right? This many years later, we're celebrating this machine that's gone into space with no people on it. When we used to get really excited about allegedly we put people in outer space, right? And now we're just doing the same thing without having to rationalize testimony from human beings that are supposed to be up there, right? But I mean, dear
Egyptian
God.
spot in the orbit.
Now, by the way, you see this sky here? You see this sky? This clear sky, not a goddamn cloud in sight?
ऑर्बिटर के साथ चंद्रमा की सतह पर गहन अध्ययन और उन्नत
Those clouds were there when this thing
सभी
launched.
परीक्षणों और सिमुलेशन
Okay.
के पश्चात तैयार है
All of
सुदृढ़
this
चंद्रयान
happened.
3.
Right? Here's the launch.
आपको संक्षिप्त में LVM-3
All right, here we go. There's all the
As the rocket is
clouds.
soaring through the clear skies, every second moving closer to the accomplishment of the most important milestone in its mission to moon. Every Indian witnessing the launch live.
Right? Like, they want you to believe that the footage is all real. Like I get it. Like, this is like real. There's really a thing going up there, right?
उत्थापन के साथ ही हमारे अंतरिक्ष यान चंद्रयान 3 की चंद्रमा
Is
की
it
यात्रा
a
प्रारंभ हो चुकी है।
rocket-assisted balloon,
As
the
the
way
rocket
many
is
people
soaring-
have theorized? I couldn't tell you that. I'm just saying that I can acknowledge that that's something that's really happening. You're not going to get me to acknowledge, look, you can see the shading where it's an imposition in front of that. And this, just like the moon, it's a flat out, right? It's a two-dimensional picture that was like, rendered or something. Like, you practically can see the pixelation.
Apart from the
Or
strap-on,
the fact is that you can see where they've smoothed the pixelation, right? Because if they left it pixelated, people just say it's pixelated, it's fake. People understand pixelated. But apparently you can still get them to believe this, right? I got lots of people that were smart enough not to get vaccinated, that knew that the vaccine was a global organized hoax to basically grab your energy, your psychic attenuation towards it and towards the world that lie builds. They're doing the same thing here. All right? People that believe the earth is flat, I can't find one that's vaccinated. I can't find one that got COVID. I can't. There's lots of them. They're having a convention. Flattoberfest is coming up. They're fine. They're all fine. There are very wise people that are globe believers that are unvaccinated. But they're globe believers, and they believe went to space, they believe went to the moon. But they're smart enough to not be vaccinated. So I don't like insulting everybody. I don't like making blanket, alienating, isolating, condescending, snarky little comments about how stupid somebody's fucking belief systems are. Personally, it fucking hurts me to even fucking try and imagine doing it. Right? I did a bunch of, I've gone through some searches trying to figure out, like, what's all the things that we can see, right? Like, these here are more CG, dude, everything's like CGI models. And often they'll be upfront about it being a CGI model just because not a lot of pictures were taken of it. But then again, this is publicly funded. This is a public project. Public project, you would think you'd have some shit going on, right? I mean, look at this goddamn fucking, like, tree fort. This is a fucking tree fort. I'm sorry, it's just a fucking tree fort. And so, here's a black and white type of photo. This is a fairly good looking photo, right? But we just have this particular still frame as such. We have no video footage, nothing to give us a sense of depth and texture and motion, right? Like, it's why it's very important to have videos of stuff. Like, a lot of people believe in certain UFO videos. I believe in UFOs. I've seen them myself. But there are fucking UFOs out there that just, the fucking footage just sucks. It's just like, that's CGI, bro. Don't you know what CGI UFOs are? Like, dude, that's an audio speaker that somebody has pasted on the screen and has it flying around frame by frame. You can't tell that's you don't recognize that from ordinary stuff in life, right? And so you have to consider these things. As an Indian project, though, I will say I like pictures like this, because doesn't that look like a multi-armed deity? Couldn't that just be fucking Shiva right there? But anyway, but yeah, guys, like, these people, they want you to believe that the representative footage is real. I don't know if this one there, no, that's regular, like, it's different, right? Oh, look at this. Look at that. Regardless of what they're using this for, because it's blue, you're also at the luxury of having a blue screen effect. You can easily blue screen this photo into anything that you want. All right? Like, all this stuff lends itself easily to being inadmissible as solid and definitive evidence towards the claims that you're making, right? Okay, you claim this, right? This all is just based on taking it for granted. This is all based on predeterminately assuming that it's real because you gave money to it, because there are people that are professionals that are watching it. You're forgetting how corruption works. You're forgetting how conspiracies work. You're dismissing money laundering and projects that you need to launder money and making those look like a big deal. Like, you're forgetting a whole lot of effing things that you just need to dismiss because you're getting worn out by people that are annoying you and trying to wear you down into ontological shock, that what you're looking at is not what you believe that it is, right? And I think that it is important that this information is out there. I think that it is not important to put this information on anybody. You let people have what they need, because they'll come to their own ontological transformation on their own. Okay? And that they can draw their own damn conclusions about what all this means. Just remember that these feats that everybody else is doing, America claims it cannot do anymore. India's an ally. You would allege that they would have shared their, quote, telemetry data, which is what the people that run NASA say was destroyed during budget cuts and cleaning up operations after budget cuts. They destroyed the telemetry data that they needed to reproduce this event. And allegedly they don't have the resources to work on reproducing the telemetry data. Right? This is why I say that Tesla is not exactly what you think that he is, and I think that Tesla is like Bob Lazar. That Bob Lazar is brilliant, but he was working on stuff that was the discovery of other people. And I think Tesla was there to work on the discoveries of other people and to perfect them. And because if they were really his to begin with, then no amount of effing him over would have mattered, because he is the source. I suggest that Tesla was not the source, right? So this is the same thing. I suggest that the scientists that we've been led to believe do these things are not the source. Was Jack Parsons the source of all this stuff? Well, you know, I love magic. I'd love to believe that it was the occultist and the magi who was the guy who cracked the code, right? Like, naturally, I'd be all for this stuff if I was really into the occult and really, like, needed things to put under my belt and say, look at what magic can accomplish. Through magic, we accomplish the science of rocketry, right? That's you know, shout out Thomas Sheridan with the Jack Parsons Liber Velocity video, excellent video, right? And I think that Jack Parsons did do great things for rocketry, right? What the people he was working for did with that, that's another story altogether. As we move into this world, like, you got to remember, guys, they are systematically making us dumber. So obviously their presentation of intelligence is going to go down with it. Otherwise, it would just go over people's heads. So the smartest things we see are going to have to look as dumb as possible to be understandable and defensible by the tax-paying population that needs to believe in this stuff in order to fund it. Right? And just like I said, it's just like, it looks like a multi-armed deity at the same time. Like, I love the launch pad for that reason, just the multi-armed deity bit about the whole thing. I mean, is like, I'm not like, once again, this is a CGI interpretation, and I don't know if anybody's selling this as real or as the animated reproduction that it is. But my point is that you see way more of that, and then for the most part, all you're seeing is, you know, as far as the real thing is, the real thing is always these footages of it sitting in its development lab, right? It's sitting in its development lab, it's getting loaded in, and then after that, there's nothing real. There's nothing real, and then there's some still shots that don't really help at all. All right? So look, does this prove that India didn't go to the moon? No. It only proves that all of the footage is inconsistent with reality as your demonstration, evidence, proof that they did. And burden of proof is on the claimant. India's making the claim they went to the moon. I am not convinced. Anyway. Thanks so much for the couple of people that tuned in over here. This was just kind of an impromptu thing. I'll let you know when I'm ready to do the next in the Heidegger series. I don't think it'll be today. Maybe tomorrow night. Maybe tomorrow night I'll have a chance to do it. So I'm going to catch you guys later. This has just been a quick and simple little stream. You guys have a good one.